Hello, Cindy Olin here with Create Your Own Luck in Love. And we're back with Level Up Your Love Life, remove the blocks that are standing in the way of attracting and creating the juicy love life that you desire and, quite frankly, deserve. I am really excited to be here today with my very special guest, Allana Pratt. And let me just share with you, she is a returning guest. We've had her before. And let me just share with you a little bit about her if you don't know. We're in for a really special treat. Allana Pratt is an intimacy expert, global media, and go-to authority for those who have suffered heartbreak and are ready to live unapologetically and attract open-hearted and an ideal relationship. She's been chosen as an icon of influence and is a columnist on the Good Men Project, has been featured on Huffington Post, People Magazine, Forbes, CBS, ABC, Fox, and more. I feel like, woo, it's a lot. Welcome. I'm so excited that you're here, Allana.
Thank you so much
for
having me. It's great.
Of course. So today we're going to talk just, about healing from heartbreak and, discovering love during this age of lockdown. And as we're, a year later, starting to reemerge into, kind of a new normal in society and what that looks like. So I can't wait to play with you in this arena. So I'm just going to dive right in, unless you have anything you'd like to say first.
No, I love answering any and all questions you have to support our community here. So yes, let me have it. Bring it, girl.
Let's do this, right? Okay, so let's, I feel like healing from heartbreak can bring up so much. Do you, and I know it can be different for different individuals, but what would you say, like a couple, do you have a couple of step-by-step processes or a little process that, and it might be a large process that you show, the watchers and listeners, what they can do to heal so it doesn't, I find that heartbreak can do this thing at times where you think you've healed and then it comes back. So how does one really, move through that process? And I know this is your area of expertise. I'd love to hear.
Thank you. Yeah. So heartbreak, a lot of us think, well, it's the heart, right? Yeah. So we know it's emotional. But I've been at this for 20 years, and I always have 2 or 3 coaches going because I can't see my blind spots either. Yeah. And I'm always learning. I'm a master at what I do, but I'm always a student because we're learning so much more about quantum psychology, spiritual technology, the universe, the field, the way our bodies work. There's a lot of ways that we didn't really understand why we keep sabotaging ourselves over and over, why we think we've healed, but we really haven't, why we keep attracting that same wound over and over, right? And we're all smart. And we do the work, and we listen to podcasts, and we go to therapy, and we do a workshop, and we hire a coach, and we do those things. And then here you go, same problem again, bless you. And we really feel, sometimes we feel like, is it ever going to happen for me? I'm going to die alone. Like it gets really, really hopeless in there. So I think the piece that's most important that I want listeners to get is that the way trauma, heartbreak, is lodged into our bodies and beings is not just the thought. You can't just sit, no offense, on a traditional therapist's couch. Not that there's anything wrong with therapy. It's just not enough. You can't just think about it and tell stories about it and heal this in a lasting way. It's a part of it, but it's not all of it. You can't just visualize a new future and just keep visioning and visioning and visioning. It's helpful. It's heading in the right direction, but it alone, the image, is not enough. You can't just have a good cry. You can't just do some inner child work. You can't just forgive, like do some just emotional work. It's required. That's helpful, but just emotion isn't enough. And then lastly, a lot of us have learned about tapping or the somatic healing. And again, also very supportive, but in and of itself alone is not enough to heal this in a lasting way. I would call each of those improvement, maybe temporary relief, but I'm personally interested in lasting change. And so here's the key.
You and me both.
Thought, image, emotion, and body sensation, all 4 elements are required at the same time to literally integrate, heal, process from pain to, we probably get to like allowance first, where the wisdom of why it happened occurs, so that we can embody the lesson that breakup was meant to give you in the first place. You see, we can't learn forgiveness unless we've been betrayed. We can't learn courage unless we've been a coward. We can't learn to speak up unless we've, hidden our truth and not spoken up.
Sure. Yeah.
Learn strength if we haven't felt weak. So what happened in that past relationship was a gift to not just cognitively analyze a situation. No, it was to embody and awaken this best part of you. And that requires image, thought, emotion, and body sensation, all ways that trauma, that trigger, that breakup, that heartbreak got lodged into you. Every single element in totality, 100% of all those 4 elements, kind of see like a 4-leaf clover. All of them need to be 100% integrated for this low vibration of heartbreak to turn into, oh my God, the very worst has brought out the very best in me. I have never been more free, more self-expressed, more confident, more peaceful, more alluring, more free, right? That's the overall reason, if any of you out there have not fully healed that wound and keep attracting the same pattern, it's probably because you got 2 out of 4 or 3 out of 4 or 1 at a time and had moments of relief, but your life still is like a roller coaster of, I sure hope, devastated again. He must be the one. No, he uses me like the rest of them, or she, whoever's watching.
Right.
Okay. So what I'm so grateful, it's been about 2 years now, even though I've been trained for 20 years. I've been trained in these quantum psychology processes that have learned how to integrate these 4 elements all the way through to the other side. And I personally was very skeptical. I had a really bad custody battle for about 12 years. And there was a situation where my son got carted off in a police car and he was screaming, Mom. And my ex was more angry at me than compassionate for our child because he had his own triggers and his own wounds, right? And so while I could cognitively forgive him, I would still wake up at 3 a.m. hearing my son scream. Mom, couldn't get rid of it. And when the people that taught me how to do these processes, when they said to me, oh, Allana, we've got the next level of training for you. I'm like, yeah. They're like, no, it can get rid of trauma. I'm like, sure. And so I didn't do the whole year program until I did like a 3-day. I said, if you can get rid of this thing that keeps me up at 3 a.m, me who does every process, who's been at this for 20 years,
right?
Fine, I'll pay the $25K, whatever it was, and I'll sign up for the year and I'll do this and I will pass it forward. And I will heal my clients, and I will now train my coaches, and pay this forward. And by the end of the weekend, it was amazing, Cindy. Not only, so I had a memory of what happened, but there was no more emotional charge. There was no more physical things that would happen in my body. There was authentic, not only forgiveness of my ex, there was gratitude. Gratitude that is
on your face.
Yeah, right. Sorry. Well, this is bonkers. How can you be grateful for somebody that did that, right? It was literally more than forgiveness. I was actually experiencing gratitude because he was the catalyst for me to learn to forgive at that level, personally grow at that level, live my mission and help others at that level, and no longer see myself or our son as a victim, and elevate beyond all of it. Like I had gratitude for him. And I also had a new point of view that I'd never had before. I saw that whole situation from my ex's point of view, from my son's point of view, and I saw the gift for everybody, the growth for everybody. And I literally saw that whole experience is perfect. And so this is like
it was whole purpose. They were whole, perfect, and complete, and they were all. It was what I'm hearing you say. Just reading in between, it's like you saw them from the image and likeness of God,
yeah.
and they got to experience their own experiences perfectly, and there was healing that came through
all of us.
Wow.
Yeah. And I've got shivers as you're saying it. You get it.
Yeah. At the same time.
Yeah. You get it.
Share that, but I've had that a couple of times today, and I'm like, I wonder if I share that I actually got the goosebumps.
Oh, 2 arms worth. Yeah.
Yes, me too. That's powerful. So I'm feeling curious. I know this is a process that you teach, but how, what's the first step to getting in that space where, okay, I'm ready to go, process through all of this.
It's a combination of being willing to be both brave, and I guess we could use the word humble or surrendered enough to go through a process like this, and to be really honest, because the truth is, I liked complaining about my ex. Like I kind of got something out of it. I got to be right. I got to be the victim. I got attention. I didn't have to move forward with my career because I got to keep complaining. I got to go, poor me, poor my son. I got to point the finger. I didn't have to risk moving forward. I didn't have to let go of all that energy I was wasting blaming or being the victim. I didn't have to take all that energy and show up in the world and write the next book. And like now I'm developing a partnering app. I didn't have to do all these things that scared me because I was kind of liking being right about it and blaming him. So you have to really go, am I actually willing to move beyond this and have a life where I have a new story? I have a new reality, because we say we don't want to hurt anymore, but we actually get a lot out of it. Yeah. We say we want to have this new person with this happy life, but that's actually very boring to the ego. It's really good for the heart and it's really good for the soul.
Right.
But the ego is going to have nothing to complain about, nowhere to waste its energy, nowhere to keep focusing on worst case scenario. You're actually just going to have to fucking be happy. Oh, can I say that? I'm sorry. I'm swearing.
You can say that one. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Okay. I swear all the time, but sometimes you get
So what I'm also hearing you say too is you've got to be willing to let go of the secondary gain that you have from staying in that story. And sometimes it's hard to even see that you have secondary gain in the first place.
Oh, it's so embarrassing when you finally realize you love being a victim and you love being a martyr and you love not moving forward in your vocation, your genius, your talents, your gifts. You love being stuck. So you have, like, the way I like to see it is like someone would say, so how's your career? Super good. How's your son? Super good. How's this? How's your ex? And I'd be like, orchestra, begin. You know what I mean? Like it would be this whole like song and dance. And as soon as I started to really like observe how addicted I was to my story and how unwilling I was to let go of being a damsel in distress or some badass woman that triumphed, like my worth was connected to overcoming.
Mm-hmm.
And my worth wasn't here's my worth and here's was my accomplishments, but they were collapsed. And also in doing this work, because I'm always coached and coaching, right? Yeah. So as I get coached and I'm going, oh shit, I got to uncollapse these. I realized that my worth was based on, look what I overcame. Look how strong I am. See, I'm not a victim anymore. Look what I overcame. But it's sort of like from damsel in distress to badass bitch on wheels. And that's a step in the right direction. But who I choose to be is a queen, a goddess, a priestess of love and generosity and quiet, calm confidence and grace, right? That's who I choose to be. And I'm not going to get there if I'm addicted to being the badass who overcomes all the time and look at me roar and all the rest of it. So I had to admit I was addicted to that. and uncollapse my worth. My worth is my worth is my worth. It's a full sentence. That's it.
Yeah, and that, that badassery, although it's great and empowering, I think that can also create a distance between you and everyone, other people. There's that wall of protection that goes around.
Yeah. Can I tell you where I am, Cindy? Exactly like what you just said. I'm in Utah. I have been in California for 20 years, right?
I love Utah. It's very pretty there.
Snow-capped mountains everywhere. It's a gorgeous sunny day. It's amazing.
I love going to Utah.
Thank you. Yeah. So I'm here because I'm in love. I have fallen in love. I have the most amazing partner ever. And what I'm realizing is in saying yes to him, not like my needy victim, but like for me to go where I want to go and for him to go where he wants to go, these two very independent, I can do myself people are realizing, oh my God, I need you. I will allow you to help me. I will allow you to support me so that I'm not the banks of the river and the river myself. I'll let you be the banks of the river here, and I'll be the banks of your river there. And together, 1 + 1 equals like infinity, more. It's not like half and half equals 1 and you complete me. That's the old codependent, kind of stuff. This is like wholemate, 2 wholes. It's not what it's like the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. Like we are more together because I'm allowing myself to need his support and he's allowing himself to need my support. Not needy in the low vibration of the word, but in the high vibration of the word. And again, it's same thing, just to tell the truth. I'm going to be vulnerable and to surrender and to let go and to tell a new story and allow it to be better than we can ever think. Yeah, it's very vulnerable to really secondary gain, as you call it, or what do you love about your story is another way to look at it. And then go
like, how's it serving you, or what's the
payoff, what you getting out of it? Yeah. Let it go. There's a period of time where your ego will fight hard to keep the story going and do it yourself and all the rest of it. But if you're really ready, one of the main keys, the first step, as you asked, to go through these quantum psychology processes, because you can sabotage these things. Anybody can sabotage it. You could.
I was going to ask you about that. So I'm glad that you just shared that, because it's not like 100% foolproof. So if you're not willing, you can easily sabotage it. Anyway, continue.
Yeah. So be honest with yourself. Are you really getting so much out of your story? Like some people, their whole community is based on their story. Your whole family knows them only as a victim or their story. Like if you're really going to have a life that you love with nobody to blame, no excuses, no story, no nothing, you're just going to own it and kick ass. Those other people, if they don't really unconditionally love you, they only conditionally love you based on they can control you. You both have similar victim stories, so nobody has to grow. Like you might have to let go of some colleagues, friends, or even closeness with family members if you're really going to let go of your story. Allow these quantum psychology processes to absolutely integrate all the way to pure choice, home, grace, power, freedom, where you're just like a calm badass. Like you just choose, done, and you put one foot in front of the other until it arises of its own accord, right, and smacks you right in the front of the face. And there's your partner. Like you've got to be willing to be bigger than anyone or anything, any circumstance. Know what you know, choose it, show up with your heart open, be completely unattached, do the work, and receive, no matter what anybody says. It's not the path for the faint of heart.
Yeah.
But man, it's a great path.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely glowing. So, and you shared something within regards to that. Did you notice, by doing this work and then imparting it onto others, did you notice other things shift for you?
Well, again, more shivers. God, we're really connected today, Cindy. It's really good.
The vibe is high. I like it.
Yes, it's a very, very high vibe. Okay, so yes, when I was willing to take full responsibility and start healing this, some cool shit happen and some painful shit happen. So I'm just going to be totally transparent. When you're going to live fully, some people are going to think you're cool shit, cool beans, and other ones are going to react because they're not going to go on that same high vibe with you. So not everybody in your life is meant to be there every single step the whole way. You're going to have to be willing to let go of control. Yeah. So when I chose to fully heal all this, one thing I didn't see coming as soon, because in all transparency, after the long court battle, my son and I were still connected. But then he said, I wanted to live with dad. And he was like 13 at the time. He wanted to move in with dad. So here I am. I've done all this work. I've forgiven the ex. I've like, and then he leaves. Well, that's not what I thought. I thought he would stay and love me more. And in fact, he said, I do love you more, but I want to protect you from more court, and we need to let dad win. So I'm going to live with dad now. And you go do your own thing. I know you can take the high road, Mom. So that was not an outcome I thought. Yeah.
Marshall.
Yeah. But it's actually the highest path.
Experience.
Yeah. Thank you. So it's actually the highest path for him and his dad to be together, like a boy at 13 in the Jewish tradition. You know, they have a bar mitzvah and off they're a man now, right? Or I had to allow his choice to discover his manhood, work out his karma, and in his eyes, protect me. So that wasn't what I expected when you do the work. I know he will return at some point, a man. He's 18 now, and he will have learned more. And I do believe he will appreciate how great I was for 13 years and be proud of Mom's in love. Mom's thriving in her business. Mom's no longer bitter with dad. Mom doesn't hold a grudge that I lived with dad. Mom's not doing the I'm a victim guilt trip thing. Mom's not making me feel like a jerk. Like all the work that I'm doing, I know he'll be grateful at some point when he returns. I'm just letting the viewers and listeners know, when you do the work, sometimes things don't turn out the way you think. Okay. Yeah. So it's one thing that didn't turn out the way I thought. Things that were unexpected and positive is I certified 10 coaches in the Allana Pratt method. I have invested and started my new category because dating apps are designed to keep you single. And I know this from my clients. I've developed a partnering app, the world's first partnering app, where you become the one to find the one and keep the one. And everybody in the dating app of this partnering app, the dating portion, is doing the intimacy training and showing up on the conscious connection calls, learning how to communicate and listen profoundly. Everybody's doing the work. And so we're in a high vibe community, learning to partner with ourselves, partner with each other, partner with our bodies, partner with sexuality, partners with our future, partnership, healthy partnership. So I would never have developed that if I was still making lunches, driving him to baseball practice. It's taken a lot to have two companies. I'm building a company while I have another company going on, right? I would never have met my amazing life partner. And it was on a trip. I just took off and I went to Costa Rica for like a week. I would never be able to do that easily if I was still mothering like normal. I wouldn't have had the extra funds if I wasn't kicking ass in my business. I had my best year ever the year that COVID hit, because I was just serving and giving and living my purpose. So I think I pretty much doubled my income last year in 2020, started the app. And yet the other half of it was I didn't see my son, and that was a sad part. So when we do the work, we've got to trust in the divine. We've got to trust in a larger divine plan on some level. We have to say, okay, life, have your way with me. I choose to live my truest self. You know best. Here's my 2 cents. Here's what I choose. And it's like a dance, like a cha-cha. And the universe, you do a dance move, and the universe comes back and does a dance move. And to me, that's really the path of faith and living our dharma and our purpose. And I will say, though, I've never been happier, more trusting, more connected to the divine, more powerful, more forgiving, humble, vulnerable with myself, transparent. So I love the benefits of doing this deep inner work because I have more love, more abundance, more support, more impact, and then more faith. My son will return when he returns. Yeah,
that's beautiful. And when you say, I'm curious about the app. So when you say do you mind if I ask about that?
Please.
So when you say you started the app, so is it, just walk us through what it's all about? I'm sure that, we want to, give the watchers and listeners an opportunity to access it if they.
Thank you. And I'd also love us to be like, for you to be a referral partner and say thank you to anyone you refer as well. I always believe it's all about win, win, win for everybody. So, and I really want to partner with people that get the richness and meaning of this, because I don't know about you, but my clients, when they go on a dating app, and their dating apps are designed to keep you single. Think about the business model, people. They only make money if you stay single.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've talked about this with the algorithms for years, and I work with tricking them all the time with my clients. And like, okay, so we can do this, but it can be really challenging. And of course, you can meet and find lasting love on dating apps too. But.
You can. I never have, nor have any of my clients. However, anything's possible anywhere. Absolutely. I just want us to be in I want to protect my clients from showing up on a place where all you need to do is like pay $1 and you could go in and troll and use people and catfish people and ghost people and do all the rest of it. And so these people are like, oh my God, we've had an amazing 3 months. And we had our first conversation about sex, or our first deep conversation about money or religion or whatever it is. And they ghosted me. Or after 3 months, I find out they're fucking married. Right? Like, who's out there protecting these beautiful souls that are willing to do the work, that are ready for love, not your basic dating app. And so when COVID hit a year ago, and my clients are already wanting love, right? And then they're getting more scared, more devastated, more lonely. I said, okay, I got to create a space that's safe where everybody's doing the work. Because I know people have fallen in love in my program. Soulmates have found each other in my program, but they didn't meet on day one because they were empty and I need to find the one and then I'll be good enough. No, you were in the program a year before they put their walls down, opened their heart, and their healthy, true self came forth. And they saw each other for who they were. They've known each other a year. They didn't even give each other the time of day. But then all of a sudden, doing these exercises that we do on Conscious Connection Fridays, which is where we ask deep, meaningful questions, and you really put your walls down and you listen without interrupting, and you express your deepest, truest self, and you're heard and gotten. Like they are practicing this. So that's one of the parts of this app that works. So you can see and be seen and no longer be invisible to your ideal partner. So the concept is become the one to find the one and keep the one. My business model isn't designed to keep you single. Once you've been in, it's called Heartmates. Heartmates.app. So when you go to Heartmates, you're in Heartmates for singles. And then after that, there's Heartmates for couples, because we're interested in, once you find the one, to keep the one and thrive and grow with the one. So when you are into this curriculum, we begin with the deep inner work. We begin with all of the healing of these wounds and on these high-level quantum psychology processes that I've been sharing with. They're all sprinkled throughout every single month of the app. There's all the different processes to go through. There's being able to integrate anger in a healthy way. There's connecting with yourself in a healthy way. There's integrating any taboos around sexuality. There's the capacity to speak up. There's about making love with life in the universe, so you don't just leave your sacred sexual energy just to bound chicka bound bound time. Like, you get to be alive and radiant and confident and vivacious and freely expressed. So we go through this curriculum while we help people fill out their profile, and we ask really profound, deep questions. And so when you're on the profile on the dating app, it's your photo, but it's your favorite quote that alivens your heart. It's not your age and where you're from and what you do. We want to get to know each other from the inside out, not the outside in. And so the app has different features, I guess we could call them. It's a 0 ghost zone app. So once you're done an audio, video, or in-person date, there's a feedback form that comes, because we also want to teach people how to have a healthy relationship. And we need to be able to speak up and give feedback. So it's your typical, how many hearts do you want to give them? And then what was meaningful about the date? You know, we often don't praise as often as we ought to, or once we find a partner, we stop praising. And then what would take the date to a 10? And that's the reason why I put that in the feedback form, is a lot of people don't say, oh, he friggin' talked a lot, didn't he? Didn't get a word in edgewise. But that if you say you friggin' talked a lot, that's right? But if you say on your feedback form, and the feedback forms are transparent in a person's profile, you're going to see what everybody else thought about dates with them. And to sort of like Yelp this way. So you'd say, what would take it to a 10? More what? And so you have to train yourself to focus on what you desire, not what you want a lot less of, because we all know what you focus on grows, what you resist persists, right? Okay, so I'm teaching people how to go, what would I like more of? More listening would be lovely, or like, I don't know what you want to say. Okay, so then the next page, the next you swipe, you do that, and the next page says, and would you like another heart connection or decline further heart connections? You must choose. People are not commodities. We don't ghost on this app. And so when you choose decline further connections, the person receives a note that I have written that says, thank you for taking the time to get to know me. I'm not feeling that special spark I require to move forward. I thank you for your time and I wish you the best on your relationship journey. So we honor with kindness each other on this app. Mm-hmm. And that's what you receive.
Yeah. And it's so interesting. I was having a conversation about, I love all this, Allana, by the way. This is amazing. I love that you've created that.
Thank you.
I've had visions of my own matchmaking ideals too. And anyway, but I love that you've created that space for, you know, what I'm hearing is for people to feel safe and seen. And what a way to, you know, create real authentic connections. And I was just sharing, you know, I had a conversation earlier. We were talking about dating apps and, you know, like dating apps almost are designed for people to ghost one another in some capacity at one point in time. And it's, you know, and the energy that, you know, I work with my clients around is, you know, do not ghost if you don't want to be ghosted.
Totally. Right? Yeah. So this app, it freezes. If you don't choose another heart connection or decline heart connection, it'll freeze. You are trained to be brave. You are trained to be kind. You are trained not to ghost. And after you're like, press send, the other person who receives, you don't want another heart connection, they learn, and this is another gift, you learn to sit in the fire, keep your heart open, and receive kind, constructive criticism. You think that might help you in a relationship one day? Yeah. So everything I'm teaching in the curriculum and how the app is designed is meant to foster long-term committed growth and thriving and communication with relationships. Because if the communication's over, the relationship's over. And real relationships require real work. So everybody in this partnering app is doing the work, practicing communicating and dating in a healthy way. That is, I secretly have put all these different features in to teach them how to relate well and partner well. In addition to that, to Trinity of what's in the partnering app, I do workshops. I show up on these live Q&As and answer people's questions. And I am, I'd say, a couple weeks away from my first round of investment funding. And I'm going to put it towards a lot of things, but one of which, kind of like, you know, The Bachelor and The Bachelorette is like this really successful show, but like very few people stay together. Right? And it's more
designed for that.
Thank you. So I choose to have like Heartmates Nation, where I have a crew and I go out and I meet my members. And Allana shows up and says, hey, I can see the back end. You haven't filled out your profile. Here's a beer, sit down, let's do this. And like have some fun and help these members. Or I see, hey, I can see on your profile, because I'm the founder and I can see behind the scenes that you've had 7 first dates. All right, here we go. Take me on a date. Let's see what's going on. And I'll be like, time out, right there, right then, blah, blah, blah. And like coach them in the moment and have these videos, Cindy, show up in the app. So that as I coach one, I coach all. As I love one, all are loved. And then even a couple, once they've met, because you can put your profile, you can hide your profile once you've met somebody, but I'm not going to encourage you to go to Heartmates to couples until you've been together at least 6 months, because sometimes it doesn't work out. But it's okay to hide your profile and keep doing the inner work, keep doing the conscious connection communication calls, because you're going to need that. But I'd like to see on the back end, I'm like, oh, we have a couple. So Allana shows up again and said, so have we had our first fight yet? You know, like, and like help them through conflict resolution. I'm I'm a founder who cares. Like, even if I was given $100 million today, okay, I might go to Paris for the week, but I don't know. I'll probably do like a couple things. But basically, this is more than a job. This is my life mission. Like, I care about my members. I care about my clients. There's nothing more that I'd ever want to do than help others find healthy love like I finally have. I'm 51. It took me a long time. 2 divorces, custody battle, but don't give up. And I care, and I'm loving living my purpose this way. And I'm grateful for my bravery to do something I don't know how to do. Like a freaking app. I need my staff to help me with
it. I'm really impressed. I'm impressed because the whole idea of designing an app that, I mean, obviously you get to have support around that. It's like we have coaches, we have support people in our lives to help.
I have a full-time team in India that I hire. I mean, I have invested pretty much my life savings. Like, I lost all my life savings during the divorce, and I got out of debt, and I built up some savings. And when COVID hit, I just felt like I had to get in front of the wave of fear. I had to get in front of the wave of the mental health crisis. I know I'm here to help and serve and contribute. So I invested my savings into this app. And now I'm like, it's getting tight. So I'm learning how to raise funds and have investors and create safe agreements for equity in my company. Like, I'm learning all this big girl stuff. And it's worth it. If I'm going to ask people to risk, and I'm not risking to grow and I'm not growing, then that's a fraud, isn't it? So I'm willing to grow too and be vulnerable too and walk right beside them. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing and, sharing what you're up to and the wisdom, and just, really imparting that, as, our healing does come from this triad. It's not a triad. It's more than that. But there's this connection that happens simultaneously to release, if you're ready, right, to release the heartbreak, and allow yourself to step forward and continue to do the work around it. And I feel like that's just such an important piece to for our watchers and listeners to really remember. And so it's awesome. I know you have a free gift for our watchers and listeners out there. I'm sure I could talk to you for at least another 30 to 40 minutes, and you might need to grab a glass of water, because I would keep talking.
It's all good. Anytime I can ever support you and your community, it's my honor. So you can invite me back anytime. And I really enjoy the depth of your listening, Cindy. My capacity to share is only equal to your capacity to listen. So thank you for being such a beautiful interviewer. So yes, my free gift. I have lots of free gifts if you go to my site, allanapratt.com. But the one that I think would serve you the best is kind of what we've been talking about here, our blind spots. I can't see mine. You can't see yours. Doesn't mean you're stupid. Doesn't mean you're broken. It's just how a blind spot is designed. So we have an intimacy blind spot assessment quiz that you will be providing the link to. And whether you're new to personal growth or you've been at it for 20 years, everybody, Cindy included, me included, there's always that next step. So this quiz will show you where you think this is the issue. But then, as we were saying earlier, actually you're getting a payoff for not actually looking underneath the hood and in there. And it takes you through a really beautiful way to go, oh, what I'm getting out of this is I don't have to face that. But if I was willing to face, feel, integrate, and process that, I could not only have that which I choose, the relationship, but how you do anything is how you do everything. And when that core wound is healed, every area of your life is going to up level. Romantic, yes. Social, yes. Sexual, yes. But probably monetary, financial, and vocational as well. Because if you can't receive love, you can't receive money. And probably you can't receive your intuition from the divine or your own intuition from yourself, right? The thoughts will be different. And I've even had people like lose 10 pounds without even trying, because you're not afraid of life anymore, kind of building this unknowing barrier. You can just be free. So this intimacy blind spot quiz will provide all of that for you. And again, the partnering app is heartmates.app. So we are accepting applications because we want to also protect you, to be sure that the people on that are not trolls and are not there, just there for a hookup, and are not married and all that kind of stuff. So we'd love you to apply for that. And this can be the year that you become the one, to find the one and keep the one.
Love that. Well, lots of great opportunities here, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching. And thank you again, Allana, for being here. And, you know, for everyone else that's here, I honor you on your journey and acknowledge that you're here and you're diving in, you're doing the work, and getting the resources to create your, you live your best life. And there's I always see it as, I call it the onion layer, but there's just so much more. There's always more that gets to be revealed to us. And, it shows up as soon as you're prepared and ready that next level. So thanks again for being here, everyone. And we will see you again very soon. All right. Bye, everyone.